Hey y'all, I'm EJ, you are you, and welcome to my channel. Hello. We are here today on the island of Auna, and I've decided on the theme that I'm going to be doing for this island. We are going to be doing Dystopiacore. Now you might be like, what's Dystopiacore? And the answer is, we're gonna figure it out. But basically what I'm thinking is that it's gonna be kind of city core, but derelict and future, kind of vaporwavy. I'm just throwing out a bunch of different aesthetics and I'm mashing them all together and I'm gonna make my own thing and I'm calling it Dystopiacore. So we're gonna figure out today a little bit what Dystopiacore even looks like. Also, we're in the winter, so that's gonna be a fun challenge. I wanted to set this in the winter because I actually don't really like designing for winter. So, we're gonna figure it out. Okay, let's go. So the first thing to kind of note is that the resident services is obviously very close to my airport, which is a fun challenge. And to make it feel like it's not so close, I want to make any visitors have to walk a little bit before they actually get to resident services. So we have this little V-shaped path, road designs by Colin Crossing, of course. And then I also use these wide display stands turned around to be some of the buildings, just because they're super freaking tall. My favorite retro transit stop turned around to be the front of these buildings, and of course, ye old stall, because, old habits die hard. A Takanoma, I think is what it's called. It was gonna be a building, and then I was like, no, I don't like this V, and so I cut it up, got rid of it, and then I decided to make it more of a real 90-degree L shape, and honestly, I think it works better. I really want to kind of maybe try and stick to that kind of grid format that these cities have. And I decided okay, this will be a little road off to the side, and it'll go along the edge of the, resident services. Cute, perfect. And of course, verticality, always front of mind with me. So I built some cliffs up behind our display stands to make kind of a second level of the apartments. And then I turned one of the display stands around. You can actually put stuff in it, and I put this little TV in it because it's it's an electronics store. Cute, right? Then I decided, okay, let me just get some custom designs. So I finally got some simple panels and I customized them to have these little windows on them to be actual buildings, not just concrete behemoths with no windows or anything. I put some more stuff, a little clothesline, stuff like that, just to make it look a little bit more residential when you first walk in. And this is kind of the first draft, I would say, of these buildings. This area, I kind of it's very small, but I just went back over a bunch and was just revising and being hey, mama, let's change it. AKA, no, not AKA. Example in point, this little V. I said, nope, no more diagonal. And I made this little cul-de-sac plaza area that walks up to resident services, and then I'm going to fill it in and make it kind of a bodega on the corner. If you guys don't know bodegas, by the way, they're convenience deli stores in New York, and they have them on the corners, and they're great. I love bodegas. So I put one here. Yay, cute. Now you might be thinking to yourself, EJ, where's the dystopia? This kind of just looks like a city. And it does. And I'm going to be honest, I feel this first area isn't going to feel very dystopic just because this is supposed to be the business area. So I'm thinking that the area right outside resident services and the airport, if people are visiting here, that you don't want it to look dingy and gross. You want it to look built up. So we're going to make it look nice. We have these brick buildings here, but of course the castle walls do not meet up with them. 2.0 update was not perfect. Let's just say that, okay? But all I'm saying is, okay, we're going to sparsely indulge in our rust impulses and try and make this look a little nice, a little put together. And as you get further into the island, you will see the quality of the town degrade and things get a little more grungy, which I'm very excited for. But this was a cool kind of learning experience for me. That's really what all this was trying stuff out, seeing what worked, seeing what I hated, stuff like that. And making room for myself because Cherry's in the way, of course. Thanks, Cherry. And then I was okay, maybe this is a little factory. Honestly, it was making me think The medieval walls make me think of like a brewery and like an old factory. So that's kind of what I turned it into with this giant tank. It looks like a brewery tank. But I put it down on the first level because it was just a little too tall. Sometimes verticality is almost too much. Almost. Also, we did not even talk about the construction scaffolding that I put up there. I love that thing. With the sides of this like brewery thing, I tried to cover them up as much as possible with this like snack machine and that utility pole, but it was like meh. Stacked bottles. We love bottles. We love stacked bottle containers. And at this point, like most of the main structure of this build is kind of done. And now we're just going in and adding like layers, adding random touches of life, adding like these jail bars and boxes and just different things to make this area feel very lived in. Also got to add in a smokestack because people live here and they need heat. You know, it's winter. I got some more objects from a friend and I decided to kind of go back over this area. I actually technically was like, I'm done, but then I decided to go back in with some more new stuff. And I got rid of this first building just because I felt like it was, like the display stands are cool, but they cover up the windows so much. So I kind of like put it back in and just use the retro transit stop as the front. And then you put this magazine rack and then it feels more like the entire thing is like a corner store bodega. Also the Karopi hallways continue to be the MVP, and I love them. They're just perfect. And if we're being honest, this is what most of the build looks like. It's putting down stuff, looking at it, picking it back up, and putting down different stuff. That's what a lot of the stuff I cut out was, but I kept a few things in there. Also, the fact that there's just like shopping carts in Animal Crossing, there's so many cool new things with the 2.0 update. Like the cans. We didn't even talk about the cans. I love the cans. And these they're not gears, the pipes. Either way, there's a lot of really cool things. And eventually I kind of figured out how to cover up the gap with this fence. And then they're like, look, because it's like kind of offset, you like don't really notice the gap between the display stand and the wall. So like if you're gonna try and use some of these techniques, there's a little tip for you. Then I had to finish up this building by putting more like sides, medieval sides or whatever. And then some at the back as well. It's looking cute. We're walking around. We're saying, where else can we put some stuff? The answer is not much. And here's the walkthrough. My philosophy with entrances remains the same, which is that entrances are great to start off builds of your island because they're areas for you to try out a bunch of ideas, try out a bunch of new techniques. And as you can see in this area, I tried out a bunch of new stuff. Making these fake buildings with 2.0, it's so much more powerful in terms of making fake buildings, but that doesn't mean that it is like the end all be all. I thought that I would just like throw down some storefronts and boom, bang, boing, but gotcha. It's not. You gotta still work a little bit and work with some illusions, okay? But the fact that we still have cars, wild. I mean, I put a truck here. What? But that was the first build on Auna. There we are. We're here. We're starting it. I'm very excited for the builds that are gonna come. So hit that subscribe button if you wanna, keep up with the builds, see what comes of this little dystopia island. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay cute, stay hydrated, stay you. Bye.